Well, Carolyn, it's really wonderful to have you here as someone who did a different experience with the transfer application. And I'd love to know, you've talked a little bit about, the admissions process and the essays and the advice you would give to your younger self or to younger students. Is there anything you would add in terms of the college experience itself, in terms of the transfer process? What advice would you give to someone younger than you who might be in a similar experience?
Um, I honestly don't know because part of me what is like I should have tried earlier because now I'm like trying to cram the last 2 years into the last 2 years and not take an extra semester. But also part of me is like I gave Northeastern its fair shot and to see like do will I am can I like do well here. So what I would it's hard to balance those two things like looking at it after the fact. So like I would definitely say I don't go into your college like I hmm, I would like for me it's don't go in like knowing like okay I want to get out of here like that's not a good way to go like you're not gonna if you go in thinking like I want to get out of here then you're not going to enjoy your time like give like go in with an open mind and like give wherever you are a fair shot before you really decide like okay I don't like it here I'm getting out.
That's great advice. Did you go in feeling like, "Oh yeah, I want it out right away," or was it different for you?
uh I will say I went in a little bit like I'm not entirely happy because the I mean it was more of the like I didn't really get to apply like put in my applications the way I wanted to so I felt that the results weren't entirely reflective of like who I was. So where I got in wasn't really fully like things that fit me, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
there was a little bit coming in like I'm not entirely happy, but like I also wanted to keep myself open. Like Northeastern is a very good school. I'll give it a try. Um, yeah. Jocelyn on the side asked me earlier if she thought grades like my college versus high school grades were more of an influence on whether like of like where I got in. Um, I see online that college grades have a greater influence, but also I've been very consistent between like high school grades and testing and college grades, so I can't actually speak to that. But yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And so when you once you transferred to Cornell, I know you didn't have because you were in a COVID pandemic year, it was a strange transition to your new college at Cornell. What but academically, has it felt like a better fit for you? Are you getting what you really wanted and more of the theory?
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
definitely Cornell has definitely like gotten to that a lot more.
Yeah.
Like I feel better about it. And like it's been more of a challenge to me, which I kind of needed.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing you say is you gave the best shot that you could at Northeastern and then you felt like, "You know what? I actually really do want to transfer. I want a different experience." And you got clear about what you wanted and why. It wasn't just like, "Oh, Northeastern in general isn't the place." It was like, "Oh, I want this theory. I want this specific experience that I could get at a different kind of school." And that drove the decision rather than just more frustration.
Yeah,
Does that sound
yeah,
true? Yeah,
yeah.
beautiful.
Like
Is there any other advice you would give to your younger self, like either in high school or entering college or in college?
um like going back to you probably have helicopter parents for to people students in general like definitely like take the time to like it's very much like the personal growth like find yourself thing but like find out who you are when your parents aren't watching over your shoulder because that's going to be like who that's really closer to who you are because like you're gonna do a lot of things to try and like keep your parents happy so like good grades do the sport like um do whatever extracurriculars and like, but like you're not gonna do all of those when your parents aren't there like behind you. So just like, I'm not saying you don't have like you shouldn't do them. Like sometimes it's your parents push you to do things that are like good because like to just explore a bit, but like at a certain point you have to really look at like, okay, which things do I actually want to do?
Yeah, and so college has become more of that opportunity for you to really get
Yeah.
clear. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, Jocelyn, go ahead.
No, I just want to say, like, part of me actually, I wonder about this. Like, I feel like the college application itself, like you're probably 17 or 18, some like
Yeah.
I just think it's really hard for, like, I don't think that's the age where you should be asked like what do you want to do in life. And then, and I think with me, like, even though Wells is still really close from home, I was able to get the distance that I wanted, which was like the only thing I didn't want to go to Wellesley. It was just that I think it was too close, and I thought my mom can still like hover over me. But actually, that didn't happen, and so I think that might be why that in college we're able to quote unquote know ourselves better, or
Yeah.
because you don't have the presence of your parents actually in proximity with you. So
Yeah. So
and
really the empowered place to be able to say, well, what am I genuinely interested in here? What
right,
would I
and
choose on my own? Yeah.
yeah, and also like just for people who are watching, like the transfer is always an option. So I think
Yeah.
sometimes like, and I think like
Exactly.
like Caroline's story, like it makes a lot of sense. Like it's a really
Yep.
convincing story. So I think sometimes you don't need like quote unquote, before it might be like GPAs and stuff, but I think a lot of the transfer applications are more about the story and you know clearly the reason why. So you're really like
Yeah.
determined. So
Yeah,
it's always
absolutely.
an option.